It hit me between the eyes as I looked in the mirror. Gosh, where did those lines come from? Was it a bit of bad lighting? I wish. I looked deeper. I looked tired. Maybe a little wisdom in there, I'd like to think. But certainly sadness and grief. And something else. Possibility. Was that really me? And there we go again. The tears fell as my shares in Kleenex just went up. Hi, I'm Lucy and welcome. Welcome to Beautifully Unfinished. This is the podcast that's all about holding space for women. Women who are still figuring it out. Rebuilding, reinventing, rediscovering, rewriting. What comes next in their lives? It's all the bits. It's the messy, the magical, and everything in between. Because life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. It just has to be yours. So take a breath, settle in, and let's begin. If you listen to the first episode, you'll know that I've already taken a pretty big leap. Bra, knickers and all. But today I'm searching a little deeper. Taking a closer look in that mirror. The one that sometimes shows us a stranger. They say that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and that's where the story starts to unfold. It was time. My heart was pulling me home to all that I knew, all that was familiar. The familiar sounds, the smells, the carpet full of muddy paw prints and those random clean patches where little accidents had been scrubbed away. My little granddaughter McKenna's handprint still smudged on the wall. Her sea of toys scattered about my feet. Conrad, my little baby grandson's blanket tossed over a chair. Oh my goodness, the family photos, standing vigil on the walls. Quiet reminders of so many wonderful memories. Memories of the unit, of my family. I stop and I stare at the 3-picture frame of my 3 children when they were so young, so pure. Shane, my smart, wonderful stepson, his wide smile and fair freckly face beaming out at me through the glass. Steph, my strong, wise, beautiful baby girl, sitting in the kitchen sink, smiling away and playing with the taps. Just to think she has 2 of her own children now. And Keeg, who's still a mommy's boy, long may it last, standing proudly with his little tweed suit jacket, tie and a cardboard suitcase from another era. My eyes well up. I can hardly see through the tears as I look across at the full family photo that's placed on the wall front and center. But my eyes rest on the picture to the left of my precious baby boy Mitchell, taken far too soon. My heart is broken. I am broken. But somehow I keep going. The dogs weave about my feet, tripping me up, sensing that something is shifting, something is up. There's Duke, the Rhodesian Ridgeback, his name so regal it suits him, grand, handsome, commanding. But to be frank, what he has in looks, he severely lacks in grey matter. He's as thick as 2 short planks. But when that lion-like figure comes thundering towards you, you take notice. You respect that mass. Then there's Cole, golden Labrador, larger than most, forever clumsy, absolutely no concept of personal space. A bit of a dithering, grinning idiot. His oversized paws and a habit of grabbing anything within reach, which he either leaves a hole in or a big old slobbery mess. But he has this uncanny emotional intelligence, this quiet understanding that is rather unsettling. Then there is Max the Dax, a dashhound with an oversized ego, His full name, of course, is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the north, loyal servant to the true emperor Marcus Aurelius. That says it all, doesn't it? When Max looks in the mirror, he doesn't see a Daxi. He sees a gladiator. And although he's periodically met his match with the bigger dogs, that has never stopped him from trying or believing that he could conquer the world. Perhaps there's a lesson in that. Finally, there's Millie. Millie's the Jack Russell. Sweet mostly, but in true Jack Russell fashion, she can be a right bee with an itch. Each of them, in their own way, led by wise Cole, knew something was shifting. Something was up. I could hear the gardener sweeping in the driveway, that soft, normally a little bit irritating swish of the grass broom, blending with a distant sprinkler, the call of the doves in the lowries, the sounds of Africa, the sound of home. And then that wave of panic hit me like a flippin' tsunami. This was it. No audience, no dramatic moment, no ceremony, just a quiet, defeated, sad retreat. I got in the car, started the engine, the booming volume of the car informing me that my Bluetooth was connected, prompted me to put the car into drive as I pressed the remote and drove out the yard. Through a curtain of tears, I tried to focus on the road ahead, heading towards my brother and sister-in-law townhouse, my new temporary home. A decision that might have looked impulsive to some, and even to myself. But in truth, it had been years in the making, years of circumstances, unhappiness, and quietly losing pieces of myself. It was no longer about single events, but about the consequences that they had on me as a woman, as a wife, as a mum, as a granny, as a sibling, as a friend, and as myself. I tried to rationalize that I was making a head decision, not a heart one, a decision of survival and peace. I talked so long about being true to myself, read more self-help books and listened to more podcasts than I can count. It was time to actually do it. I don't know where the bravery came from, or maybe it was the courage, but that day I found incredible strength. And for a brief moment, I felt a bit like Wonder Woman, cape flying and shining tiara, attempting to stand tall in my own quiet storm as I took the next step. Bloody hero, right? And yet, here I am, sitting in my brother's house, in the spare room, 53 years old, a suitcase, a pile of packets and files, and a few essential toiletries stacked nicely on the shelf. And a very new-looking guitar, my midlife crisis vice, staring back at me like a reminder that this journey of discovery and change had officially begun. Who knew that midlife reinvention came with strings attached, quite literally? For me, it felt a bit like taking the plunge into the ocean. After the initial shock of that cold, powerful water, a surge of fear ran through me, the fear of the unknown, the fear of failing, being laughed at. Was I making a huge mistake? But mixed with all of these emotions, there was a sense of exhilaration, the rush you get when you catch your breath and realize that this is actually what a fresh start feels like. All I could think was one step, one stroke at a time. And for a moment, I felt at peace. It was short-lived, mind you. Before I knew it, I was in a full-blown panic mode, but there I was, officially in the swim. Two choices, sink or swim. I chose to swim. Slowly, awkwardly, completely exhausted, but I was swimming. And deep down I knew, somehow, that one day I was going to be okay. Let's get practical. Day one, empty fridge, right? I better get a thing or two. Off to the grocery store I go. The clue is maybe I needed to take a list next time. It was when I had to make 2 trips to the car carrying the bags. Note to self, I'm one up and not cooking for a family anymore. But then I saw it, the dog food. Why on earth had I picked up dog food? It was a heavy reminder that my heart hadn't quite caught up with my head yet. Back at my new home, I unpacked the grocery and stashed everything away. The only sound I could hear was the humming of the fridge. It was filling the silence, and in the distance I could hear the faint echo of traffic, with a very occasional car hooter. "Go on, Lucy. You'll be okay," I whispered to myself. So I picked up my guitar and stepped out into the veranda and looking into this beautiful little garden. You can imagine it. It was busy Lizzie flowers, quaint little bushes and roses scattered amongst the lavender and the shrubs. Such a beautiful little sanctuary. I went and sat on the couch, and the air was soft. It was a bit chilly being August. So quiet. You know, the kind of quiet that feels like it's watching you. I started to strum the 3 chords that I'd somewhat mastered. Strumming pattern was down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Didn't sound quite what I had in mind, but it was okay. Now it was time to get a little bit serious. Let's try the F chord. It is very appropriately named, by the way. I strummed the chord, gave it a go, and what came out was very disturbing. It was a bit like one would imagine that a seagull sounded like when it was taking its last breath. Tragic. Completely butchered it. Highly offensive to my new companion, the guitar. And that was it. I slowly slid down to the floor, clutching the only thing I had to cling to, my brand new guitar, and I sobbed. And I sobbed. Until there wasn't another tear left in me that day. Little did I know I was going to become quite the queen of tears. My family will always vouch for me. They've always said I'm a bit emotional, but this, oh my word, this was next level. This was Oscar-winning performing. And somehow, somewhere in that puddle of tears, I began to truly understand the difference between alone and being lonely. But then it hit me. I'd been lonely in my marriage for such a long time, and that was actually worse, so much worse than this. It's a scary place to be, but it's also the place where healing begins. Because once you've met yourself at your lowest moment, you start to find pieces of strength you didn't know you had. And when you can't find the courage, if you let it, it finds you. And maybe, just maybe, that's where Beautifully Unfinished really begins. Some days we cry, some days we swim, and some days we just float. Wherever you are today, know that you're right where you're meant to be, and you're not alone. If this resonated with you, your story, your truth, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me how this resonated with you. Thank you for spending the time with me today. It would mean the world to me if you enjoyed this episode to please like, follow and subscribe, to share it with someone who might need a little reminder that they're not alone. So until next week, breathe, laugh, keep showing up exactly as you are, beautifully unfinished.